Hello dear children, welcome once again to your channel Computer Science with Meena Dogra. Hope all of you are doing great, hope all of you are hale and hearty. Well Python lovers, in this video I'm back with the part 2 of letters code series which I recently started for string based codes in Python. And let's see which code we are going to take up in part 2. So in part 2, the questions before you, we'll be taking up this code today. Print the count of lowercase vowels and uppercase vowels present in a string entered by the user at runtime. So suppose a user enters a string at runtime, your code should display how many lowercase vowels are there in it and how many uppercase vowels are present in it. It's not supposed to be a combined count, it is supposed to be a separate count of each of these categories. Fine. So for example, suppose the user enters Python is the best. Fine. If the user enters Python is the best, then the script output should be count of lowercase vowels 3, okay, and count of uppercase vowels 1. Let's quickly see how many lowercase vowels are there in it. See, this is lowercase, and this is lowercase. So there are 3 lowercase vowels and we have 1 uppercase vowel over here. Fine. So with the requirement clear, let's move to the dry run of the code. Fine. So in the dry run of the code, as I did in part 1, I have taken up the screenshot of the code that I will be running shortly and showing it to you. And on the right hand side, I've taken the dry run of this code. Fine. So like we have to, children, we have to display 2 counts. Lowercase vowel count, uppercase vowel count. So these are my 2 counters that I will be initializing with 0, just in case my string does not have any lowercase vowel or any uppercase vowel. The output finally should be 0. But in case my string has a lowercase vowel or uppercase vowel, then accordingly these counters will be incremented whenever we'll come across a vowel. Fine. So always whenever we are using counter based codes, we should initialize the counters with 0, so that if that thing is not found, the value will remain 0, and if the thing is found, then the value will be updated accordingly. Fine. Next step is to take the input string. Fine. So using input function, I have taken the string from user at runtime and I'll store the string in this object s. Fine. Now when my string is ready, suppose this is the string that we have taken, Python is the best, and this is the string I'm going to consider while explanation also. So we'll run a value based for loop. I told you in part 1 also that value based for loop, when I refer to this statement, I mean that from the string, one character will be brought into the loop variable. So the loop variable over here is C and my sequence is S. So with this loop variable C and my sequence being S, which is a string in this case, that is S, one character from S will be brought into C with every iteration, and it will be checked for being an uppercase vowel or a lowercase vowel. Accordingly, the respective counters will be incremented. So let's see how many conditions we have put. We have put an if-elif block. Either of these two, like within the if block, I'm checking for the presence of uppercase vowel and updating its counter. In the elif part, I'm checking for lowercase vowel and updating its counter. Fine. So when uppercase, I have just to tell you that how we can compare. In the first while comparing for uppercase vowel, I have used the relationship operator equal to, that is the equality operator. Find relationship operator equal to. And when I'm trying to find out whether it's a lowercase vowel or not, I have used in, which is my membership operator here. In is my membership operator. Fine. So membership operator. So I have told you like 2 ways to check the same thing. Fine. Whichever you find convenient, you can use that, and obviously in will be more comfortable to use, with more convenient to use. Fine. So let's understand the loop now. Suppose C may first character is fetched, like in this example P is fetched. Fine. First character is fetched into C. So it will be checked if C is equal to capital A, or, because it can be all the vowels at the same time, the character will be either of the 5 uppercase vowels. So we are using this logical operator or. This is my logical operator or. So I am combining these 5 conditions using my logical operator. Fine. So either C will be equal to A, or C will be equal to E, or C will be equal to O, capital O, or C will be equal to capital I, or C will be equal to capital U. If C is either of these 5 uppercase vowels, fine, then in this if block I will update my UV counter, which is my uppercase vowel counter, by 1. Fine. And if my C is not an uppercase vowel, then in the LF block, I will check if it is small case vowel, fine, lowercase vowel. So here I have conveniently used my membership operator, which checks, suppose C में A आता है, suppose C में A, ठीक है ना? Then I can check if A in A, E, I, O, U. Now here A is present, this would be case sensitive matching, children. Both these matchings are case sensitive. So if C contains a vowel, lowercase vowel, either A, E, I, O, U, then it will be a member of the string in which I have put all 5 lowercase vowels. I have made a string containing all 5 lowercase vowels. In C, a single character will be fetched. If it is a small case vowel, then it will be a member of this string, and in that case my output will be like true. So my lowercase vowel counter will be incremented. So instead of using a long expression like this, lengthy expression like this involving relational operators and logical operator OR, we can conveniently check in Python using the membership operator. So if my character lies in this lowercase vowel string, I will increment lowercase vowel LV variable by 1, and if my character is apart from these uppercase lowercase vowels, then I don't have to do anything, because that I'm not counting characters apart from vowels. Fine. Once my loop will be over, once all the characters, now for this for loop is going to run till the end of the string. It is going to run length. It is how many times it is going to run, as long it is going to run for the length of the string. Once the last character is fetched and checked, this for loop will terminate, and here I can, outside this for loop in the same indentation, I can print that count of lowercase vowels is LV and count of uppercase vowels is UV. Fine. So let's see the dry run. In first iteration, C will have capital P. Before that, I must tell you, I have initialized both my counters with 0. When P will be fetched, none of the counters will be affected, they will remain 0. Fine. When Y will be fetched, small y, next iteration, small y will be fetched, again my counters will remain 0 because Y is not a vowel. For T also my counters will remain 0 because T is also not a vowel. None of the conditions will be, neither the if block will be entered nor the elif block will be entered, and Python for loop will move to the next character in the sequence. So here also with H also 0, 0, LV 0, UV 0. Now when small o is there, small o jab aata hai, okay, that is going to match over here. This if C is containing, so this is going to be ellipse O in A, E, I, O, U. So here O is matching. ठीक है ना, O is a member of the string, so my this condition will be true, and my LV counter will be incremented for the first time. LV becomes 1. So it is going to be 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. Fine. So my uppercase vowel counter will remain unchanged. In red color, I have shown the changes to the counters. Fine. With N, next character that is fetched, none of the counters will be incremented because N is not a vowel. Next character is a space. No change in the counters because space is not a vowel. When I is going to come, small I, again it is a lowercase vowel. So the condition would be if I in A, E, I, O, U. That is true. I is over here. So my lowercase vowel, which is 1, so it will be incremented by 1. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So here a change takes place in the LV variable. Uppercase variable UV remains same. With capital S, this is I think it should be small s. Doesn't matter. Consider it as S. And again, no counters will be incremented because S is not a vowel. With space again, none of the counters will be incremented because space is not a vowel. Same for T, no change in counters. Same for H, no change in counters. Now when small e comes, again small e will be a member of A, E, I, O, U string. So LF block, the condition becomes true, and my lower LV counter 2 plus 1, it becomes 3. So LV counter is changed. UV counter is yet to open its account. Now with space also, none of the counters will be changed. With capital B, none of the counters will be changed. with capital E. Now here UV variable will open its account best, capital E. This condition will become true. C equal to E. Fine. And my UV variable will be 0 plus 1. It is going to be incremented by 1. First change in the UV variable when we are almost on the third last character of the string. Fine. Then in S, no change in the variables because S is not a vowel. T also no change in the variables because T is also not a vowel. So the final values of my counters L, V and U will be 3 and 1 respectively. So here output will be shown as count of lowercase vowels 3 and count of uppercase vowels 1. This is how this code is going to operate. Fine. Okay, now let's see the implementation of this code. Here is my code and let me run it for you. It's the same thing that I've shown on screen, and let me run this thing and let me enter a string that Python is the best. I'll enter the same string and just see lowercase vowels 3 and uppercase vowels 1. Let me enter another string in which like I can write Python only, and here I will have lowercase vowel 1, uppercase vowel 0. Okay, now let me enter a string like suppose I can enter any string which is not containing vowel. Let me think of some sort of a string. I'll just take a random string S, D, F, G, suppose such kind of a string. So both my counters will remain 0 over here. Fine. So whenever I will be entering if at all my string will contain a lowercase vowel, the counter will be updated with every iteration whenever it comes across such a character. Same for uppercase vowels. If my string doesn't have any vowels, either both of them or either of them, the respective counters will remain 0. So this was about the code that I executed, and I hope its explanation is clear. Along with the dry run, do pause your screens over here, take a screenshot and note it down in the same manner in your notebooks, children. I hope you found this video good, and I'll be back with part 3 soon. Do let me know in the comment section how you felt after watching this video, and yes, do not forget to watch the part 1 also, because these code practices will only make your concepts more strong, because when you code you implement what you've learned, and that ways your concepts become more and more clear and more strong. So till we meet again, children, happy learning. God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.